In Force of Nature, Mel Gibson and Emile Hirsch play the douchey cops people are protesting against. Force of Nature also stars Kate Bosworth in an edge-of-your-seat thriller that has many flaws, but it will keep your interest. Set in Puerto Rico during a Category 5 hurricane, Hirsch plays Officer Cardillo, or in this case, Cardillo, a New York City cop demoted to desk duty on the island. He and his new rookie partner, played by Stephanie Cayo, are assigned to evacuate residences in the neighborhood. While at the apartment building, a band of violent thieves led by actor David Zayas arrive looking for payday. The cops come across a retired detective named Ray, played by Mel Gibson, his daughter, Dr. Troy, and Griffin, another resident in the custody of the cops. Force of Nature's action is set mostly in an apartment building where the residents seem to be expatriates hiding out or living the rest of their lives on the island. The locals are nowhere to be found, probably because they know the seriousness of the situation. Griffin is the African American who moved to Puerto Rico after an incident with police brutality. The others you'll learn are there to retire away from their former lives as well. Force of Nature is a solid action movie directed by Michael Polish, best known for his breakout hits Twin Falls, Idaho, and Norfolk. But it's problematic with its lead. Hirsch's Cardillo is not likable. The movie starts out with his character contemplating suicide, but he can't go through with it. Then we cut to the police station where it's obvious he hates his job and has disdain for the locals. During the course of the film, he sort of wakes up from his mental state when he jumps into action, but he doesn't really redeem himself in the sense that he's not a changed man, except now he has a love interest and a renewed interest in holding the badge. But there's no sense of a greater purpose, or his attitude towards the locals hasn't changed. Mel Gibson is especially not likable as a curmudgeon and sexist retired detective. He lays on the New York accent pretty thick and is cartoonish at times. In real life, he's been accused of sexist and racist remarks, so his character seems to be playing out that perception of him on the big screen. Not sure if that's the right role for him right now, but by no means does the film put him in a hero position, even though he takes out a few of the bad guys. Gibson's selection in roles the last few years are curious ones. He's always gravitated towards playing an anti-hero, but in recent years, probably because he's been shunned by major studios for some of his past comments, he's relegated to B-movies playing men living off the grid. But they're actually not that bad. They're action-packed and enjoyable, like Get the Gringo, even though it suffered from extreme stereotypes of Mexico and Mexicans, and Bloodfather. He's done a few studio films like Daddy's Home 2 and The Expendables 3, but the last 2 years he's been relegated to indie action films. But in Force of Nature, while there are attempts at humor for his outdated views of policing, it comes at the wrong time with the rise of the Black Lives Movement because of recent events. I interviewed director Michael Polish and asked him if Winona Ryder's claims about his anti-Semitic rant he allegedly made a long time ago will hurt the film. Here's what he said.
I think, anytime you have negative publicity, you're going to have good things and bad things come out of the film. I hope it doesn't affect the film negatively, but I'm sure Mel's going to address this in a way that will be positive.
While Force of Nature has its negatives, there are some positives in the film, aside from the action. Everyone shares in the hero moments, but it's really the women who are the most empathetic and rescue the men in other ways, especially Bosworth, who plays the doctor. The men are these outcasts, while the women are the stable ones. I like that about the film. At one point, Kate Bosworth's character tells a male character not to worry, she's got his back. I really like that gender twist. That's what real life is like anyway. Women are fierce protectors, but in films we're always relegated to damsels in distress needing a man to rescue us. Now, early reactions to the trailer complain it was too early for a movie to be set in Puerto Rico during a hurricane, and that the bad guy is a Latino, while the protagonists are all white. While the antagonists are Latino, it doesn't play out in a stereotypical fashion. The heist is not your typical one, so the twist at the end is actually a good one. The protagonists, however, are not great people either. This movie is about these outcasts played by Hirsch and Gibson. At the beginning, Hirsch hates that he has to evacuate these people and prefers desk duty. He doesn't care to learn the language and complains about it. Gibson's Ray character is an old-school cop who complains that the police are too soft on criminals and misses the old days of policing, which we know what that means. Hirsch's female partner is a rookie and idealistic. She represents the more progressive police. The future is female, guys, and things would be better if we ran the show. So while Force of Nature has its many flaws, it's an interesting watch. I'd recommend it if you're looking for a straight-up action movie.